Clark, we played them, and she almost dropped 50 points. That's besides the point. We won. I want to be the player that maybe tries my best to shut down the best players every night. So she's definitely one of the ones on that team. So
it's the ugly nonsense. It's the BS
disaster. What an embarrassing disaster for both ESPN and the WNBA.
What aspects of her game would you like to work with her on for this season?
Yeah, I mean, certainly getting stronger was one. The level of physicality in the W is totally different.
We've played it before. I want to play again. I want to show her what I got right now. I ain't ducking the smoke.
It's just a part of the game. So there was no targeting. There was no nothing. Right. That narrative that got spun into, the vets hate the rookies hate the vets are going after certain players. It's all bullshit. Like, if I'm just going to be frank, it's all bullshit.
It's the ugly nonsense. It's the BS disaster. That's how some are describing the drama surrounding Caitlin Clark, the WNBA's rising star. But amidst the manufactured controversies and the attempts to tear her down, something truly exciting bold proclamation from a rookie who's not afraid to call out the queen. Saniya Rivers, the Minnesota Lynx's rising star, has set her sights on Caitlin Clark, the reigning MVP and undisputed face of the WNBA. Is happening. A new rivalry is brewing, one that has the potential to electrify the league and capture the attention of fans worldwide. Saniya Rivers, the confident rookie from the Minnesota Lynx, has thrown down the gauntlet. The excitement surrounding this matchup is palpable, the tension thick enough to cut with a butter knife. Is this just a rookie trying to make a name for herself, a bold attempt to grab some headlines? Or is there something deeper, a more profound rivalry, brewing beneath the surface? One thing's for sure, issuing a direct challenge to Caitlin Clark, declaring her intention to shut down the reigning queen of the WNBA. The excitement surrounding this matchup is palpable, the tension in the air thick enough to cut with a butter knife. The WNBA is about to get a whole lot more interesting. Saniya Rivers didn't just hint at a rivalry, she issued a direct challenge, a public declaration of war. In a recent interview, she recalled a college game where Caitlin Clark scorched her team for nearly 50 points. This just a rookie's bravado, a bold attempt to grab headlines? Or is there a deeper motivation at play? A simmering rivalry fueled by past encounters and a burning desire to dethrone the queen? Rivers' comments about Clark weren't just your typical pregame trash talk, they were But instead of dwelling on the loss, Rivers focused on the ultimate victory, the fact that her team still came out on top that night. Now, in the WNBA, she's looking for redemption. We've played it before.
And we got a long-term kind of list, but Caitlin, I remember from the very first day when we were working on balance and we were working on footwork and we were looking at all those things, from day one to day two, she had it.
Wow.
Like she's a perfectionist.
There are PR people who request to not be asked about Caitlin Clark or to not talk about Caitlin Clark, and that has happened.
And the personal nature of this is besides the point. We won. I want to be the player that maybe tries my best to shut down the best players every night, so she's definitely one of the ones on that team. Rivers isn't just aiming to compete. Rivalry is undeniable. PR people, those masters of spin and damage control, are reportedly advising players to avoid mentioning Caitlin Clark by name, a clear indication of the sensitivity and potential controversy surrounding her. But Saniya Rivers didn't just mention Clark, she called her out. A bold move that immediately ignited aiming to dominate, to prove that she belongs on the same court as the WNBA's biggest star. She spoke about how much she's grown since that college game, how her defensive skills have sharpened, and how her confidence has soared. I want to play again, the flames of rivalry. And she did it voluntarily, unprompted, adding even more weight to her words. I would love to slow her down a bit, Rivers stated before dropping the line that set social media ablaze. I ain't ducking the smoke. That phrase, declared, her eyes locked on the camera, a steely glint of determination in her gaze. I want to show her what I've got. But this rivalry transcends the basketball court. It's become something deeply personal. PR people, those masters of spin and damage control, are reportedly a powerful declaration of her fearless attitude, became an instant meme, capturing the attention of fans and media alike, and turning this budding rivalry into a must-see event.
once again, Saniya Rivers, who's coming in from NC State, had to say about Caitlin Clark.
What it is racism, right? It gets blown up into, oh, they're going after Caitlin Clark, but no, we're just playing the way that any other best player, franchise player is going to get played.
Mm-hmm. You know, that's all you can do is, you know, hold your head high, be proud of what you did, and, you know.
Black players have decided, hey, we're going to hate on Caitlin Clark constantly to elevate ourselves, but also trigger her fans so that they'll keep coming to games and rooting for her, and it's going to elevate the entire league.
You know, if you do go into a game with Clark and hold your own, or hell, get the best of her on that night, then that can really amplify your profile.
She was remarkable on top of the fact that she had to deal with so much hate when she got to the WM.
But Rivers' comments weren't just about basketball. They exposed a deeper, more troubling issue within the WNBA. Critics, instead of advising players to avoid mentioning Caitlin Clark by name, a clear indication of the tension and controversy surrounding her. But Rivers, fearless and unafraid of the spotlight, didn't just mention Clark. She called her out, specifically naming her as the player she most wants to face, the opponent she's most celebrating the emergence of a new rivalry, accused Rivers of targeting Clark, of being motivated by jealousy or disrespect. What it is racism, Rivers fired back, calling out the blatant double standard and the racial undertones of the criticism. It gets blown up into, oh, they're eager to shut down. And when asked about her intentions, Rivers delivered a line that sent shockwaves through the WNBA. I ain't ducking the smoke. That statement, a bold declaration of her competitive fire and unwavering confidence, became an instant viral sensation, further fueling the hype and anticipation surrounding going after Caitlin Clark. But no, we're just playing the way that any other best player, franchise player, is going to get played. Rivers' willingness to speak her mind, to challenge the narrative, and to call out the hypocrisy she perceived in the media resonated with fans and solidified her upcoming matchup with Clark. What makes Rivers' challenge even more significant is that it was completely unsolicited. No one asked her to call out Clark. She did it on her own initiative, a clear indication of how much Clark's presence looms large in the minds of her competitors. This rookie isn't her image as a fearless competitor, a voice for change, and a symbol of the new generation of WNBA stars. But the hate Black players have for Caitlin Clark also seems to be about business. By constantly targeting and criticizing Clark, they can generate controversy, attract attention to the league, and elevate their own just trying to make a name for herself. She's taking aim at the queen, and the WNBA world is watching with bated breath. What's fascinating is that some believe this bold move by Rivers and other Black players has inadvertently elevated the entire WNBA, both financially and in the eyes of the public profiles. It's a calculated strategy, a way to capitalize on Clark's popularity and turn it into an opportunity for their own advancement. And let's be honest, in a league that's constantly struggling for recognition and viewership, any publicity, even negative publicity, is better than no publicity. By constantly criticizing Caitlin Clark, they're triggering her devoted fans, motivating them to defend their idol, and driving engagement across the league. It's a calculated strategy, a way to generate buzz and keep people talking about the WNBA, even if it means stirring up controversy. They have it all.
Rivalries in the sense of Reese versus Clark on the basketball court. All of that stuff makes sports better.
Give flowers to the legend. We're going to start Diana Taurasi. I'm going to bench Sabrina and cut Caitlin.
Haley Van Lith and Angel Reese are set to rejoin forces on the court this summer.
Energy with Courtney Vandersloot. You can learn from her. You're paired back with Angel Reese. There's some good energy you can walk into in Chicago, right?
Oh, I love that energy. We're ready.
All right. Thank you so much.
Michaela Timpson, who...
Caitlin Clark's arrival in the WNBA has been nothing short of transformative. She's not just a talented player, she's a phenomenon, a cultural icon who's single-handedly changing the game. She's become the benchmark against which all other players are measured to try sometimes, one commentator observed, referring to the constant criticism directed at Clark. They're out there to remedy violations of the laws and the Constitution, but at the end of the day, the courts... You can't have 600-plus federal judges trying to run the federal government, the ultimate test for any rookie hoping to make their mark. And her dominance isn't just about scoring points. It's about her electrifying style of play, her ability to make the impossible seem routine, and her infectious enthusiasm for the game. She shoots low-goal threes, passes the ball like magic through litigation when the president is just refusing to do his job. This analogy, though seemingly unrelated to basketball, highlights the lengths to which some are willing to go to challenge the status quo, to disrupt the established order, and to make their voices heard. Rivers' approach is part of a larger shift that is going on. Johnson scores a lot of points, leads the league in assists, one commentator observed. She's a great player, and she plays and shoots and releases the ball like Steph Curry. This exciting, dynamic style of play, reminiscent of some of the NBA's biggest stars, has captivated in the league, where rookies are no longer content to simply blend in and pay their dues. They're coming into the WNBA with a fierce competitive spirit, a desire to make an immediate impact, and a willingness to challenge the established stars. Caitlin Clark has become the ultimate test, the benchmark against which these audiences and drawn a new generation of fans to the WNBA. But her success has also made her a target. Every rookie, every up-and-coming player sees Clark as the ultimate challenge, the obstacle they must overcome to prove their worth. And a strong performance against Clark, especially in a nationally young players, measure themselves. And a strong performance against Clark, especially a victory, can instantly elevate a rookie's profile and launch their career into the stratosphere.
Talked about joining the Indiana Fever.
Oh yeah, I mean, she reached out to me yesterday, and we always been talking, you know, and she told me like earlier last year that she wanted to play with me, and this was before she went to the Fever. So, I mean, I guess she's spoken into existence, you know, but yeah, we've been talking, and she's been giving me a lot of pointers, and I'm just super excited to be with someone who I know. Oh yeah, that's gonna be pretty cool. I mean, she's a great point guard. You know, she set the tone for the league last year. You know, she had an incredible rookie season, so I'm just excited to play with her.
I think one thing that Clark doesn't get enough credit for is her athleticism. She's a freak athlete, the best guard finishing at the rim last year. I believe she finished at the rim better than Asia Wilson. Clark is going against Paige and Dejanay. ESPN today, when they were talking about Paige, one of them says, I think Paige will be a good player this year, but I'm not expecting a Caitlin-like impact, and that's an unfair bar to set. Dallas Wings using the promo poster of Paige.
Caitlin Clark, whether she intended to or not, has become a catalyst for change in the WNBA. She's not just a star player televised game, can be a career-defining moment, a launching pad to stardom. Saniya Rivers, Hailey Van Lith, Angel Reese, Georgia Amoore, these are just a few of the young players who are eager to test their skills against the Queen, to prove they have what it takes to compete at the. She's a phenomenon, a force of nature that's reshaping the league and inspiring a new generation of talent. Every rookie entering the WNBA sees Clark as the ultimate challenge, the player they must overcome to prove their worth. Hailey Van Lith, Angel Reese, Georgia Amoore, these are just highest level. And the WNBA, recognizing the power of these matchups, is actively promoting these rivalries, turning them into must-see events that are generating unprecedented levels of excitement and fan engagement. The upcoming showdown between the Chicago Sky, featuring Van Lith and Reese, and the Indiana Fever, led by Clark, a few of the young stars who are eager to test their skills against Clark, to measure themselves against the best, and to carve out their own place in WNBA history. These matchups aren't just games, they're events, highly anticipated showdowns between established stars.
Stephanie White will have different ideas on how to use Caitlin Clark, including putting her off ball at sometimes, so she can come around and give the defense a different look, maybe catch and shoot. And then, of course, you put the ball in her hands and let her cook.
It just don't come across that way. She is highly likable. I think that lends itself to her popularity is she comes across as somebody that's really just respectful, likable. There's other players out there that...
This is what Stephanie White had to say.
With new head coach Stephanie White at the helm, everything is evolving.
She's got a new coach who knows what to do.
The rivalry between Caitlin Clark's Indiana Fever and the Chicago Sky, featuring Hailey Van Lith and Angel Reese, has become must-see TV, a clash of styles and personalities that promises fireworks on the court. These games, Clark's influence. The Indiana Fever, under new head coach Stephanie White, are implementing a new system designed to maximize Clark's strengths and extend her career. White recognizes that Clark is a generational talent, a player with the potential to redefine the game. She's implementing strategic changes, including more aren't just about wins and losses. They're about narratives, about storylines, about the ongoing saga of rising stars challenging established veterans, of rookies seeking to dethrone the reigning queen. And the fans, hungry for exciting, competitive basketball, are tuning in. their enthusiasm fueling the WNBA's resurgence off-ball movement for Clark, allowing her to utilize screens, catch-and-shoot opportunities, and conserve energy without having to sit on the bench. White is also working with Clark to diversify her finishing moves, adding floaters, Euro steps, and more unpredictable drives to her already impressive offensive arsenal, and transforming the league into a must-watch spectacle. Even Michaela Timpson, a new addition to the Indiana Fever, has spoken about her excitement at playing alongside Clark, acknowledging the point guard's influence and the impact she's had on the league. Caitlin Clark has unknowingly created a proving ground for aspiring. These changes, these strategic adjustments, are designed not just to improve Clark's individual performance, but to elevate the entire Fever team, turning them into a legitimate championship contender.
Caitlin Clark, you have a generational talent. Sometimes that word is thrown around, but I think it's really fitting here. What aspects of her game would you like to work with her on for this season?
Yeah, I mean, certainly getting stronger was one. You know, the level of physicality in the W is totally different. You know, that's the way that teams have to try to keep her off balance. Keeping a low center of gravity. You know, there are times where she plays a little bit upright, making sure core strength and her ability to move with time under tension and stay in a low center of gravity is important. You know, I think from just a straight basketball perspective, making sure that we help her diversify you know, her finishing ability, diversify in the way that it's not predictable, to be able to be equal in terms of production and facilitation going right and left, to be able to have different types of finishing looks, whether it's, you know, crossbody finishes, whether it's floaters at the rim, whether it's quick floaters, long floaters, you know, Euros. You can't quite be as fundamentally predictable with as much athleticism, speed, quickness, and as much as the game plan is going to be geared toward her. And then I think the challenge for us as coaches is how do we get her rest when she's on the floor while she's playing, right? Like while she's on the floor. And some of that's going to be playing off ball, utilize her as a screener, getting her into action on the third and fourth side instead of the first and second, where it's easy to game plan against. Now, how we use her to help everybody else be better off the ball. We know how great she is with the ball in her hands. We're not going to take that away, but we've got to be able to diversify a bit in how we use her. So from those kind of challenges as well. I mean, we've got like a short-term kind of list and we got a long.
But with increased success comes increased scrutiny, increased pressure. Caitlin Clark is no longer just a rising star. She's the face WNBA players. A strong performance against her, especially on national television, can instantly elevate a rookie's profile and establish them as a force to be reckoned with. But outperforming Clark, that's the real prize, the ultimate validation of a young player's talent and potential. Of the league, the player everyone wants to beat. She's facing double teams, trash talk, and hard fouls from opponents desperate to make a name for themselves by shutting her down. And it's not just about scoring points anymore. It's about leadership, about handling the pressure, about inspiring, and rookies like Saniya Rivers know that a victory over Caitlin Clark isn't just a win. It's a career-defining moment, a chance to etch their name in WNBA history and solidify their place among the league's elite. But Caitlin Clark isn't just sitting back and watching her teammates, and about proving night after night that she deserves the hype, that she's truly a generational talent. And this is why Saniya Rivers' challenge is so significant. It's a symbol of the changing landscape of the WNBA, a league where rookies aren't afraid to the challengers line up at her door. She's evolving, adapting, and preparing for the battles ahead. Under the guidance of new head coach Stephanie White, the Indiana Fever are implementing a new, more dynamic offensive system designed to maximize Clark's extraordinary talents. White recognizes that Clark is a generational challenge the established order, where rivalries are becoming more intense and where the stakes are higher than ever before.
Long-term kind of list, but Caitlin, you know, I remember from the very first day when we were working on balance and we were working on footwork and we were looking at all those things, from day one to day two, she had it.
Wow.
Like she's a perfectionist and she wants it and she's going to work on it. So that long list might get shorter every day we're in practice.
She shoots logo threes, passes the ball like Magic Johnson, scores a lot of points, leads the league in assists. She's a great player and she plays and shoots and releases the ball like Steph Curry. So there's the attraction to the exciting style of play.
There's so many players who cite you as an inspiration for their games, including Caitlin Clark, who's just absolutely a phenomenon in college. What's that next step like for her?
You know, next steps, gosh, in this generation, right? You have, I think, just so many more challenges of how to handle yourself as an adult, right? You go through that whirlwind of being a senior in college, transitioning into the W. And then the next step is how to become just an even better leader. And so much of leadership, I think, is listening and learning. And hopefully the more she can get connected to vets in the league and just different people and coaches and anyone that she can glean wisdom from of how to just continue to learn how to be as a connected and inspiring leader as she can be. And a lot of that is walking the walk and not just talking the talk. So she's already on her way, but continuing to have fun, continuing to anticipate how people are going to try to stop her and being prepared as she can be for next season.
Caitlin Clark, despite the controversy and the criticism, remains a remarkably likable and popular figure. Her down-to-earth personality, her infectious enthusiasm for the game, and her genuine connection with talent. A player with the potential to redefine the game, and she's committed to helping her reach that potential. The new system will utilize Clark's versatility, allowing her to play both on and off the ball, creating opportunities for her to score, facilitate, and impact the game in a variety of ways. Fans have helped elevate the WNBA to new heights. Attendance at games, especially those featuring Clark, has skyrocketed. TV viewership is up, merchandise sales are booming, and the league, once struggling for relevance, is finally starting to capture the attention of mainstream sports fans. But with increased popularity comes increased scrutiny. Certainly, getting stronger was one, White explained, outlining her goals for Clark's development. The level of physicality in the W is totally different. Making sure core strength and her ability to move with time under tension is important. White is also focused on diversifying Clark's every move, both on and off the court, is being analyzed and dissected. Critics have accused her of being a clout chaser, of showboating, of being overrated. Some have even suggested that the media's focus on Clark is a form of finishing ability, making her less predictable and more difficult to defend. We've got to be able to diversify a bit in how we use her, White emphasized. We know how great she is with the ball in her hands. We're not going to take that away. These changes aren't racial bias, a way to diminish the accomplishments of other, less celebrated players. But these criticisms, these attempts to tear her down, only seem to make her stronger, more determined to prove her worth. And the fans, for the most part, adore her, embracing her flaws and celebrating her triumphs. They see just about improving Clark's individual game. They're about maximizing the Fever's potential as a team, turning them into a legitimate championship contender. But with increased success comes increased scrutiny, increased pressure. Caitlin Clark, the face of the WNBA, the player everyone wants to beat, now in her a reflection of themselves, a young, talented, and sometimes flawed individual who's not afraid to be herself, who's passionate about her sport, and who's inspiring a new generation of fans to fall in love with the WNBA.
Facts. Caitlin Clark is getting mauled, no calls. Ryan Clark is a clout chaser that stinks at sports commentary. His co-hosts aren't worth mentioning. Natasha Cloud, a.k.a. Natasha Clown, is running the race baiting media because she's average at best in the W, and now she's stuck in Connecticut because she stinks. Most influential female athletes right now: Coco Gauff, 10, Juju Watkins, number 9, Cameron Brent, 8, Paige Beckers, number 7, Sabrina Ionescu, number 6, Asia Wilson. So Asia's not going to be happy either. Jakari Richardson was number 4, Simone Biles number 3 right here. I can't quite get past the fact that Simone Biles is behind Angel Reese. Caitlin Clark, she ran away with number 1. I don't think that should surprise us. She came away with number 1. Caitlin Clark is redefining the entire landscape of women's sports. Her dominance on the court has shattered outdated narratives about women's sports, proving that women's basketball can be just as marketable and widely watched as men's. But the Caitlin Clark effect goes far beyond her performance. It's reshaping the entire sports landscape. Her presence alone boosts the WNBA attendance by 105% compared to games without her, while road games featuring her Indiana Fever see an 87% increase in opponent home attendance. Her rookie debut sparked a staggering 200% jump in WNBA viewership. While Fever home games drew a league-high 186,000 fans last season, a 265%.
So the stage is set. The faces a new set of challenges. She's no longer just a rookie trying to prove herself. She's a superstar, a target for every opponent, a player who must consistently perform at the highest level, night after night, under the watchful eye of millions of fans and critics. And she's showdown between Caitlin Clark and Saniya Rivers is just around the corner. Two talented point guards, two fierce competitors, two representatives of different generations of WNBA stars ready to battle for supremacy on the court. Who will emerge victorious? Will Clark continue her reign of dominance, silencing the doubters and solidifying not just a scorer anymore? She's a leader, a facilitator, a player who must elevate the performance of her teammates and carry the weight of her franchise on her shoulders. The Indiana Fever, thanks in no small part to Clark's arrival, are no longer a struggling franchise. They're a team on her status as the queen of the WNBA, or will Rivers, the fearless rookie, shock the world and dethrone the queen, ushering in a new era of WNBA basketball? Let me know in the comments who you're rooting for. Are you Team Caitlin or Team Saniya? And if the Rise, a legitimate contender with a roster of talented players ready to compete for a championship? Kelsey Mitchell, Nalissa Smith, Natasha Howard? These are just a few of the names that have joined forces with Clark, transforming the Fever into a team that's capable of beating anyone on any given night. You're a die-hard Caitlin Clark fan, type CC in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell because this rivalry is just getting started, and you won't want to miss a single moment of the drama. Thanks for tuning in, and that's why Saniya Rivers' challenge is so compelling, so significant. It represents the changing landscape of the WNBA, a league where rookies are entering the game with a fearless attitude, ready to take on the established stars, and where established stars like Caitlin Clark must constantly evolve and adapt to maintain, and I'll catch you in the next one.